Hi, good morning everyone and Happy New Year. Hope you've all had a lovely Christmas, even though it's been completely different to what we used to. But I'm going to start the year off by doing this tutorial for you, which is one that I've been wanting to do for such a long time, but I just haven't been able to source the wire frame shapes at a reasonable cost really. So this is our new moon shape macrame wall hanging, and at the moment I've got limited stock. I have got more frames on the way, but I can't, as with any deliveries at the moment, guarantee when they're going to be here, so I've only got a few in stock. And I'm just going to be using the Bobony single twist in 3mm for this one, but if you're sourcing your own frame and cord, you can use 5mm, you can use the 1.5mm, it's entirely up to you. And also the design is completely up to you. I've decided to just do some lark's head cords and leave them hanging. I've done the spiral knot or the half square knot. I've done the diamond pattern in the middle, and then I've just repeated the spiral knots on the other side just because I like it to be a bit symmetrical. Okay, I've also done this using the silver, but in the tutorial today I'm just going to be using the Bobony in the dusky pink, just because it'd be nice for a little girl's nursery or bedroom. Okay, or just because you like pink like me. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this tutorial. It is going to be hopefully one of many that I upload this year. I've been working really hard to build our channel to add more content, just to keep you crafting at home whilst we're not able to do workshops face to face. So I hope you like this one as much as I do, and we'll get going. Right, I've got all my materials and supplies that I need. So as I said, I've got the 3mm single twist in dusty pink. I've got a sharp pair of scissors. I always tend to use the Fiskars razor edge. It's worth investing in a decent pair. I've got a tape measure, I've got my moon frame, and I've got my pin board. And again, if you've seen any of our tutorials before, it's because I like to pin my work in place so it doesn't move everywhere whilst I'm making the knots. Okay, so to begin with, you're going to need to cut a length of 3 meters, which is going to wrap our moon frame so that we don't see any of the metal. And then as far as these cords go, it really does depend upon your preference really, how long you want it to be. If you're just going to leave some cords, as I have, just left loose, because I like just the nice natural frayed edge that it gives, or if you're going to be doing a spiral knot or the diamond pattern, which I will show you, these you're going to require longer lengths. Okay, so what I did is for the spiral and the diamond, I used 2 meter length cords. Okay, and then the rest I think it was probably about 75 centimeters to a meter, but then going towards the outside I obviously used shorter, but we'll go through that as we go through the design. Okay, so first thing to do is cut yourself a 3 meter cord to wrap. Okay, so I've got my 3 meter cord, and I'm just going to make sure it's nice and loose and just left it dangling by the side of me, and we're going to attach it, but I want to leave a tail of about 10-15 centimeters. Okay, so that can be one of the dangling cords, if you like. And we're going to put that through the frame, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to take the rest of the cord over the frame, but to secure that first bit, that cord that I left, I'm just going to pull that, okay? So as you can see, that one, it's not perfectly secure, but it's just going to hold it in place whilst we're wrapping, okay? And all you're going to do is, it's a bit tricky to begin with when the cord's longer, but you're just going to take the cord through the wire frame and pull it all the way through. Okay, again, as I say, just hold that steady till you get going, and then just keep wrapping round and around. This takes a good while, but it's worth taking your time. Make it nice and neat. What you could do is, because you know I like my pin board, I could pin that cord into place there, and then I know that that's not going to come loose whilst I carry on wrapping the rest of the frame. I might just need to move it as I get to the other side of the frame. Okay, so I don't expect you to watch me wrap it all completely, because you'll have fallen asleep by the time I get to the end of the moon. But if you wrap all the way round, and I'll meet you when we're done. Okay, so we're almost at the end, and it gets a little bit tricky where you're going around the thin part, the point of the moon. But up here, what you can see I did is I just changed direction so it hooks over the end. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the diamond pattern in the centre of the moon. Okay, but what I have done is I've just put a couple of pins so that when I'm pulling down to make sure my knots are secure, that my moon's not moving everywhere. So I've got these 2 pins here. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom in a little bit, and I've got 3 2-meter cords. Okay, so for the diamond pattern, you're going to need 3 cords that are 2 meters. As always, fold them in half, so you've got the ends together and you've got your loop, and then we're going to attach them with a lark's head knot. Okay, onto our frame. Now, you can shuffle these along our covered frame, but try and get them where you want that bit of the pattern to be. Okay, so I've said I'm going to do mine in the centre, so I'm going to put these here, and then I can work my way to the outer sides. So that's 1 lark's head knot. And get my second. Okay, that's 2. Sure they're close together, but not too tight. Okay, whoop. That's why I have it pinned in place. There we go, and here's my 3rd. Okay, there we go. So I've got my 3 lark's head knots, which is 6 cords. Now I'm going to make sure that they're all nice and straight. We don't want them overlapping because we'll just get confused. Oops, sorry. And I'm going to be working with the centre 2 cords to begin with. Okay, so for my centre right hand cord is going to be my top diagonal of my diamond, and my centre left hand cord is going to be the top left of my diamond. Okay, so let me do the right hand side first, and we're going to do a double half hitch knot with this cord and then one with the second cord. So over, through the loop. Okay, make sure it's all nice and snug. Okay, there's half and there's a double. Okay, and one with the second cord. Okay, and there we go. So that's that side done. Now, as I say, I'm going to use this centre left cord for the top left of the diamond. So half hitch, double half hitch, and then with the second cord there, half hitch and double half hitch. Now when you're making these, you want to try and make as best as you can that these cords are sort of like the same size and have got the same tension. If you pull them too tight, they will become smaller, or if you leave them too loose, they will become like a bit bigger, baggier, if you like. So try and use the same amount of pressure each time, so you've got the same size double hitch knots. Then you need to make sure your cords are free again, not overlapping. And we're going to use the centre 4 cords now just to make a regular square knot. So L loop there, and then my P cord. If you're familiar with my terminology, it's just how I remember to make the knots. You can always look on our basic knots tutorial. And then my P cord, my P loop with my L cord going through. Okay, so there we go. So I've got my square knot in the centre. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my left hand cord to make the bottom left of the diagonal, the diamond. So half hitch, make sure you move it right up, and double half hitch, and then the next cord, half hitch. Okay, and then that cord is just going to lie in the centre. Now for this cord, I'm going to do double half hitch with the 2 cords to complete the diamond, but I'm then going to continue to make the top left diagonal of the diamond here. Okay, it'll become easier when I show you. So half hitch, double half hitch, okay, half hitch, double half hitch, Okay, so I've done those 2 cords. Now I'm going to carry on with the cord that was the filler cord for this side and make a double half hitch knot, which is going to close the bottom of that diamond. And then the next 2, you want to carry on so you're going in that diagonal line. Okay, so you'll have a bit of cord here, but then this is going to be the top part of the next diamond. Oh, my cord's got stuck. If that happens, if it comes a bit frayed, you can always cut the end off or put a bit of tape. Okay, so there's 1 double half hitch, and there's 2. Okay, you see what I mean here? You will have that cord like that, but that's absolutely fine. That's what we want. I love this pattern. Okay, so there we go. So that's that side done. Now we're going to do the top right diagonal. So I've got the 3rd cord in from the right. It's going to be my filler cord now, and I'm going to make 1, there's 1 double half hitch, and the second. Okay, and there we go. Let me just move that back. I seem to have moved slightly. Okay, and then put your 6 cords all back down the centre, make sure they're not overlapping. And we're going to make another square knot for in the centre of the diamond. Now, on the first square knot, I did my L loop first, my left cord, which gave me the loop showing on the left hand side. But this time, if I do my P cord first, remember, because that makes my P loop, and I take my cord through that way, then that overlapping loop will show on the right hand side. So it just alternates the pattern. Okay, and again, you don't have to do that, it's just personal preference. Okay, there we go. So see what I mean, that the loop is showing on the right hand side this time, I had it on the left hand side that time. Okay, so now we're going to carry on. So I'm going to repeat this here. So I'm just going to do 2 double half hitch knots to make the bottom left of the diamond. One. Two. Okay, but then on this side I'm going to do the bottom right diagonal of the diamond, and I'm going to carry on and do the top left of the next diamond, and we're just going to repeat that for however many diamonds you want, however long you want this design to be. I think I did 1, 2, 3, 4, I did 6 diamonds on the first one, on the silver one that I showed you. Okay, if you want more, then just start off with longer cords to begin with. Okay, it really is entirely up to you. Okay, so this is where I'm going to secure the bottom of my diamond. And there we go. Right, I'm going to carry on and make a few more diamonds. You decide what you want to do, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so I've now completed 5 diamonds and I've stopped there. As I say, you can make it as long or as short as you wish. And what I'm going to do now is either side of my diamond pattern, I'm just going to add 2 lark's head knots and I'm just going to leave them hanging. Okay, so these cords are 1 metre. So the drop will be 50 centimetres. Okay, and again, however far or however long you want your cords to drop, then just double that for your lark's head knot. Okay, that's only if you're just leaving them to dangle on their own, if you like, okay, because you're not making a knot, so you're not using any of the cord. Okay, you'll see in a minute that if we are making knots, then we'll need longer cords. So that's 2 that side. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, so I will repeat this on the other side in a minute, is I'm going to add another 2 cords, but I'm going to use the half square knot to make the spiral. Okay, so for this I've cut 2 cords that are 1 metre 75. Okay, so for this bit, for this knot, I have cut 2 cords that are 1 metre 50. Okay, but when I'm making the half square knot, the centre 2 cords don't actually do anything. So what I've decided to do, and this helps with saving bits of cords as well, is I take 1/2 or 1 part of it, and that's going to be my centre cord for however long I want it to drop. Okay. Then I do my loop, okay, and then this cord will be a lot longer, but that's the cord I'm making the knot with, if that makes sense. Because normally, to make sure that the cords are even, we find the ends, but for this one, it's worth just having the centre cords shorter, because otherwise you'll just have a lot of cord that's spare. It's the outer cord that does the work. Okay, so I'm going to do the same with this one. Okay, so the shorter cord is going to be my centre cord. Make my lark's head knot. And then I will have the longer cord as my outer cord. Okay, see what I mean? So those 2 are the shorter cords here. And then these 2 are the longer cords, and they're what's actually going to make the pattern. So a half square knot is just repeating the same action over and over again. It's half of the square knot, so I do my L loop over the centre 2 cords, and my right hand cord, or I call it my P cord, up and through that L loop. And there we go. All right, and I'm just going to pull that to secure it. All right, so you can see why we have the outer cords as the longer cords. When I first started doing this, I was very good at making sure all my cords were even in length, but then I realised I was actually wasting a lot of cord, so I just thought it's easier to do it this way. If you agree, great. If you want to stick to your normal way, then that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to carry on making that half square knot, and you can see it's beginning to spiral, and it will continue to spiral all the way around. Okay, so what I have done is I've repeated the same on the right hand side, okay, and on the previous one I showed you, I'd done another spiral knot here, but what I'm going to show you now is, just because you might want to add some beads to your work, these are poly Macrame beads that I've started making because they've got a nice decent size. This is a 6mm hole. Or you could make a personalised like little pendant. So this one, you know, I could just put on, thread it onto a cord. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to include the bead within the diamond pattern. Okay, so I've cut myself another 3 cords. This time they're just 1.5 meters. Okay, pin that out of the way. And I'm going to attach those just with my lark's head nut. There's one. Okay, there's 2. Move that up there. And then I'll squeeze another one in the middle. Gets a bit trickier to feed the knots, the cords through when you get to the pointy bit of the moon. But there we go. Okay, so I've got my 3 lark's head knots, so my 6 cords again. I'm going to start off exactly the same as I did here. Right, let me just get that so it's, you can see it clearly. Okay, so I'm going to start off one half hitch. Okay, that's that bit done. And I'm going to repeat that for the top left-hand part of the diamond. Right, let me just repin this because it's moving around a bit. There we go. So if I do that side, okay, and then this time, rather than make the square knot in the centre of the diamond, I'm just going to use the centre 2 cords, and I'm just going to feed them through this bead. Okay, might want to twist them or put a bit of tape. There you go. But because the holes are 6mm, they're great for macrame making these beads. So there you go. So I've added a bead there, and then I'm just going to finish the bottom part of the diamond in exactly the same way. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I'm going to move over to the other side. and I'm going to finish the diamond. Okay, now again, I could just do this one diamond and leave the cords hanging freely, or I could carry on and add a few more diamonds with beads in the centre. It's entirely up to you. Okay. There we go. Okay, there you go. Might be nice with a slightly smaller bead as well. But the beauty of making your own polymer clay ones is you can do them to suit. Okay, I've started making my own, and I am going to be doing kits for you to make your own, or I've got pre-made ones on our Etsy store where you can buy them. Okay. Right, so I'm just going to do the one, I think, and I'm just going to leave those hanging freely. And then, of course, what I do one side, I'm going to repeat on the other, and so on. Okay, right, so finish your design, see how you get on. You might do something, decide you're not so keen, undo it, do it again. And I'll meet you when we've finished. Okay, and there you go. I've finished this design. So all I did is I just added another freely hanging cord either side of the diamond with the bead. And all you need to do now is just have a look at your ends and decide how you want them trimmed. You might just want to leave them sort of like random, or you might want to, like I do, I like them, have them going down and then sort of like longer in the centre and then going up to the sides. Okay, and again at the ends you can fray them if you want to, or what I like to do is just start them, but just using your pet brush and just begin to brush out the very ends. And just look a bit nice loosely frayed at the bottom. Right, you can hang with a command, like a clear hook you can get, and you can just hang it there, or you could add another cord or a bit of clear fishing wire if you wanted to, just so you can hang it to the wall. Okay, and there you go. There is your completed moon wall hanging. Just the variety of the different patterns on there. Just adding a bit of a different colour with the beads, and I hope you've enjoyed it. As I say, this is just a basic idea. You can make them longer, you can use different patterns, the plait or the braids look quite nice. It's entirely up to you. If you like what you've seen in this tutorial, please leave a comment or hit subscribe, and I'll be back soon with a new tutorial. Thanks for watching. Bye.